player size of US solo queue is almost double that of NA, and the concentration of really skilled players in high elo is higher than that in NA too, I'm sure. Probably by maybe even more than double.
Well, it's the fourth week of NALCS with coverage presented by OmniSlash. I'm joined right now by Eugene Park to talk a little bit about his online persona, Pobelter, and how that character did today on the stage. Eugene, why don't you walk me through the match that you guys had today?
Well, we picked a funnel strategy with Talia, and it didn't work out quite how we intended it to, so it was pretty rough. Early mid game a bit, but we were able to come back late game by just picking them off with our globals.
Do you feel, 'cause I think you guys had been playing pretty standard before this in the LCS, so did you feel extra pressure to try unconventional stuff given how Europe did so many unconventional things last week and seemed to win out over conventional strategies?
Well, we've always been trying out a lot of different stuff in practice, even though we've shown more of the standard side in practice, and this was something that seemed like strong and was having good results, so we decided to just play it on stage.
Yeah. Why wasn't Peter playing Heimerdinger?
You'll have to ask him for that one.
All right.
I have encouraged him to play Heimerdinger.
Okay. I think it's good. Everyone should be encouraging everyone to play, because I feel like the number one criticism of North America right now is that everyone is afraid to play the stuff that everybody else is playing, right?
But I'm pretty sure Heimerdinger sucks. But it's like strong, but it's also like just fucking awful late game. If you watch the TSM vs 100 Thieves game, Heimer was just shitting on the lane as hard as Heimer possibly can.
Yeah.
Like took bot turret, took top turret, and then Heimer died once, then Heimer was just useless the rest of the game.
So then why did Heimerdinger do so well last week?
I think that was just like one piece of the pie, so to speak. Heimer is really strong in lane, but I mean, for fuck's sakes, NA team kept opening like Aatrox against EU. It's like, well played, you won with Aatrox. So.
It's funny because I went out to dinner with Reckless and Perks and Peter was just like, guys, like Heimerdinger seems so OP. Like, is there anything that could stop Heimerdinger? Like, Heimerdinger seems unstoppable, and you're like, Heimerdinger is very stoppable.
No, he's kind of OP, but if you can stop him once, then he's useless.
Okay. So you just need to shut him down once, and that's over.
Yeah, because the champion, if you play Heimerdinger, you'll understand what I mean, but he's a champion unlike any other champion in League, and that he is just, like, super janky. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, this champ is janky.
Okay. Well, Jat did you see Jat did, like, a whole synopsis of a breakdown? Like, live on air, he pulled up, like, the practice client or whatever and showed, like, all the different Heimerdinger combos you have to pull off.
Did he dress up as Heimerdinger?
He did not. Maybe he should have.
You should have. Then I would have watched it.
Okay. Well, that's good. You should tell him that for the next episode, because I think they should do more of those champion things, and he should just cosplay every time. Maybe we can talk to Sneaky about that. But, okay, so he's just janky. What is it that about the one kill that, like, stops him from, like, carrying?
Well, basically, like, once Heimer's team starts losing, pretty much.
Okay.
But, of course, you could argue, if you have Heimer, you should never really get in the position where you're losing, because he's so strong in lane and, you know, pressuring the Dragon and Rift Herald and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, we don't really see it in China and Korea, so maybe EU is just really ahead of the meta on this one, but it seems like a strong pick, but not, like, OP.
Did you happen to see your teammate's editorial video that he put out this week?
Oh, yeah, Peter released a video about, like, the state of League, and, yeah, I didn't watch it.
Well, it's like a really big discussion point, and I keep asking pro players about it, but I feel like none of you have watched it, so now I can't talk about it. Well, here, we'll take the central 10, and I'll just ask you, like, do you think League is patched too frequently right now?
Maybe. I think it would make sense if patches were spaced out a little more. Like, maybe not every 2 weeks, but maybe like every 3 weeks to a month. I think that would make a lot more sense. Especially with the volatility of LCS matches all being best of one, and then you have to adapt, and then there's some variants like, you know, what side are you? Or like, oh, we discovered like this really great strat off of this patch that the other team hasn't discovered yet. So there's some variants there. So it'd be nice if like we had more stability from the patch side, but yeah, that's up to Riot, and then whatever they do. If they're sticking with 2-week patches, like how they do, we've done that the whole time, so there's nothing new. But
Then I had a conversation with Darshan, who said that he's starting to look into, with the Players Association, getting NA players like a better practice solution, something that's like the 8 ping thing or lower ping rather than the 60 ping thing. How excited would you be if that was able to happen?
Part of it is we play on 60 ping in solo queue as opposed to like 8 ping in Korea and like 20 ping in China and EU was the differences when I played there. But really the biggest problem is just that like the player base in NA, in high elo, is just honestly it's small. Like compared to other regions, like if you queue up, let's say I queue up mid bot, then half the time I get mid, half the time I get bot or something else. That's how it is in NA. When I was boot camping in Korea for Worlds last year, I got my role like 90% of the time, maybe even more than that. I just would get mid lane every time. It's like, what? This is crazy. And it was so great because in high-low, it's like I'm getting matched against all these pro mids all the time. They're always getting their role too. There's just so many players in that server, and that's the thing. In Korea, there's so many Korean pros, top Chinese pros, top Korean pros, top Taiwanese pros. There's even like Vietnamese pros, like Japanese pros. There's so many pros that play on that server. In EU, you have all the EU LCS players, and then you also have all the players in all the amateur leagues all throughout Europe, like the Spanish league, the French league, the German league, everything. And all those players are like, they have competitive experience too. Maybe not at the same level as LCS players, but they're still really good. And there's a lot of them. Like the player size of US solo queue is almost double that of NA, and the concentration of really skilled players in high elo is higher than that in NA too, I'm sure. Probably by maybe even more than double. So I think that is the biggest problem when it comes to quality of solo queue, and that's not something that can be fixed by making the pool even more limited through ways of creating an in-house or something like that. And one more thing I want to say about this shit is people were saying there was like a big kerfuffle about, pros, we tried to set up an in-house a while ago, but it didn't work because the pros are too lazy and they didn't want to practice, and this is why NA. But I mean, okay, so what happened, there have been a couple in-houses tried in the past. The ones that I can remember was one where like High tried to set it up. This was like 4 years ago. Yeah. I don't really remember that one. And then the second one was maybe more recent. Maybe like, I think I remember playing on it when I was on IMT.
Yeah, that was when you had the tournament realm, right? And people wanted to stream it and they couldn't stream it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was kind of one point of it. But anyways, we tried that. And like for a few days, there were maybe like 20 or so people who tried it, but man, it just sucked because you had to wait so long to find a game. It's like not everyone is ready to play at the exact same time. If you have a pool of like, well, at that time it was 50. Maybe now it would be 100 with the academy players. But, not everyone wants to play at the same time. How do you decide matchmaking? How do you decide who gets to go what role? Like, when I was playing, it was like, okay, the LCS mids in that match were like me, Bjergsen, Golden Glue, and then it was like Bjergsen Glue, or the way it worked was like we all signed up on a Google Doc sheet. You just put your name on a team, and it was like, okay, well, I see Bjergsen is on one team, Golden Glue is on another team. Is it really worth my time to play this in-house if I'm not even going to get my role? And then I just ended up playing against Huni like 3 times in a row in top. And then it was like, okay. And then it's like, if someone has to go eat dinner or something, then it's like, okay, well, who do we get now? Then let's say you have an odd number of people. Let's say you have like 13 people who want to play. Only 10 people can play. Those other 3 people just have to fuck off or wait forever. I mean, it was just like not a very great system. And then it also my point earlier about just the player base overall being so small and that top concentration that, it's like dubious if it's even worth it to limit that pinched pool even further. Anyways, it's not because we were fucking lazy. Like, we tried, but, or, maybe it is. Maybe, I try to make it work. Maybe it's the other fucking lazy pros' fault that they didn't show up too. I mean, we did only have like 20 or so people instead of every single LCS and Academy player. But anyway, I think I'm going in circles at this point. But the biggest problem is that there's like, that highest percentage is not like as talented as it is in like Korea, China, or even the US.
Is there a fix, or are we just screwed? Because it feels like if you guys can't ever practice against higher tier people, you're constantly straining to get your role, and like the in-houses are just like not practical or logistically possible. Like, how is this ever going to get resolved? And if it doesn't ever get resolved, like, how are we ever going to be able to compete at the skill rate of the other regions?
I mean, maybe there is a way, like, artificially that you could do it. Like, I think the people who made the FPL League and CSGO were trying to gather interest, and, maybe that could be a way where you, well, first of all, they would somehow have to have access to a tournament realm, in my opinion.
Yeah. For ping reasons, or?
For ping reasons. And then, so that would be the first hurdle, and Riot doesn't really like to give out those privileges. I don't think they would give out those privileges to a third party. Like, they have that shit under their control. So they have to do that, and then, yeah, so, like, maybe they could do that where you, like, kind of vouch for other people, and then you don't have to deal with, like, toxic people, ragers. But it still comes down to the point where, like, you're just going to have to off-roll pretty frequently, probably, if the population size is even that much smaller.
Yeah.
It's not like there's going to be, like, a perfect amount of, okay, there's this many ADs, mids, tops, jungles, supports, and ADs. I think I repeated myself there. I just counted to 6 on my fingers, but...
Is there a world where instead of all the teams triple blocking, it makes sense to turn that, like, third block into this, like, scrim or tournament realm environment where... Because my understanding is triple blocking is, like, kind of exhausting and it taxes the team. Is it better to create this, like, pseudo solo queue situation where you can maybe do that more frequently than triple blocking, you get less exhausted, you play against a larger variety of people?
I think triple blocking is always better than solo queue. Yeah. Because you're playing on low ping, you're playing with your team, and yeah, I mean, you're just playing in team environment, which is way better for improving at the team game than in solo queue. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say about, like, this in-housing idea is I don't want to be playing in-houses against someone I'm playing next week. I don't want to be, like, in voice chat with them either, like, letting them know how I think about the game. That's dumb as hell. Like, if I'm playing against TSM this week, you think I want to be, like, playing against Bjergsen and showing him exactly what I'm playing, how I'm playing, things like that?
What if instead of... Well, because you could play all the same stuff that you would play in solo queue, right? Because they can go find all your solo queue data. And what if you're not in comms, you're just playing it like it's a solo queue game?
It's still, like, you don't really want to show your hand, like...
But don't you show your hand when you then go solo queue? Like, you triple block, and then at the end of the day, you go and you play some new champion you're trying to learn, and then they can see that it's publicly available, right?
You can learn a lot about player tendencies by playing against someone.
I see. So it's like, if you have to play against Bjergsen and you're trying to learn Twisted Fate, he's going to learn how you play Twisted Fate because he's laning against you.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, small stuff, not just related to champion pool, that you can tell from playing against someone. Like, when are they going to take a reset? Are they going to, like, pretend to reset and just bait you? Yeah. Are they going to pretend to reset and go for a crazy roam? Things like that. And then you can start to see patterns.
So then did we ever find out the solution? Like, because I said I'm worried because it doesn't seem like this shit's ever going to get fixed, and then we might be screwed.
What is the solution? I saw this really sarcastic post where it was like, let's just import every single high elo solo queue player from Korea and Europe and China. And I was like, yeah, that would work, but...
very expensive.
Yeah, what is the solution? I'm not sure. For me, I wish the quality of solo queue was better, and, I try hard in solo queue. And yeah, if I see, like, a pro, like, just fucking griefing in solo queue, I'll call them out on it, on their bullshit, and be like, hey, let's, like, try and win.
In an interview, would you call them out?
No, I wouldn't do that. But in the end, it's like teams, for that reason of solo queue not being as great, have trended towards just playing more triple blocks. And I think that's an all right solution. Like, you play your triple blocks, and then whatever time, energy you have left in that day, you can play a couple solo queue games. Yeah. I think that's fine.
I just assume you get more freedom and creativity in solo queue, right? Like, you can do, like, more random things because it's not like in a scrim, you might have to do this weird funnel strategy that you wouldn't normally do because you're just trying to learn a champion, but, like, the team needs you to learn a funnel. Whereas, like, maybe in solo queue, you play a champion that you have some theories on, and, like, oh, you're doing really well with it, and then that unlocks something that you don't get in scrims. I would assume, not knowing anything about scrims.
You do have more flexibility, yeah, because sometimes you want to just try out, like, a new champion, but if you want to do that in, like, scrims without kind of setting up a proper comp for it, sometimes it's just going to be really troll. Like, let's say I wanted to play, I don't know, I'm thinking of an example. Let's say I wanted to play, TF, who's not a great pick in competitive right now. I can just flick that in solo queue. TF's actually a great champion in solo queue, but not great for the team game. If we were doing a scrim, we'd have to set that up, and then maybe all my teammates want to try other stuff too instead. That's what solo queue's for. That's how I treat it still.
Yeah. So it says so triple blocking doesn't completely solve that situation because you want to try. It's a great place to experiment.
Yeah, I mean, just ideally there would just be like everyone in the USA plays solo queue, and then it's just like you just have like the best of the best in NA playing solo queue every day, every hour. So you just have like the most high quality games ever. But
we're for fun region.
That's not where we're at. Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there?
Hi.
Check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Look, that interview's done. Omni/Slash supported it. That's really cool. Appreciate those guys a lot. But you know what I would appreciate? There's a Twitch link in the description. There's a Twitch link in the description. It's my Twitch channel. I'm trying to grow that. You might have already subscribed to my YouTube channel, but go hit that link and then follow me there. By the way, I take your Amazon Primes too if you're interested in that. But go follow me on Twitch so that you can check out some of the new live coverage and cool stuff that I'm trying to do over there as well. And again, thanks so much to Omni/Slash. That was really, really nice of them.